Hello, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by today and welcome to my channel, My Lioness Journey. My name is Nechelle. In today's video, I wanted to give my unscripted uh, words for today's topic, which is there's no excuse for abuse. I have experienced many forms of abuse, unfortunately. I experienced abuse as a child, different forms of abuse, but I definitely experienced abuse from my mother, physical, verbal, you name it, I experienced with her. I've also experienced abuse in romantic relationships. And what they all have in common is the excuses that they give to either justify what they have done or what they will continue to do. And I'm just here to say that there is no excuse. And I'm talking to you, the abuser, if you're watching this, as well as, I don't want to say victim, but those of you that endure and you're starting to see beyond the BS, and you're like, no more excuses. I'm done with it. As a child, I experienced the lots of verbal abuse. I really feel like my mother is a narcissist. And when I finally felt bold enough to confront my mother about the things she done to me, let's see, what was the age? Well, definitely in my 30s. And I mean, fearful and all, like throughout the years, I would say little things and did more passive aggressive things, like just when talk to her, she'll finally say something manipulative. She'll say something like, I'm going to kill myself or whatever, tell my sister to tell me that, and before you know it, I'm speaking to her, only for her to do something again that'd be like, you are really pushing the boundaries, you're crossing the line. So in my 30s, I finally felt bold enough to confront her. And I did it a couple of times, on three different occasions, based off of whatever triggered me. And I can remember hearing things such as, your grandmother abused me and like her siblings. If I forgave her, surely you could forgive me because her abuse was worse. The other one, I remember doing some of that stuff, but I don't remember doing all those things. Wow, really? I did all of that? The other one, you know what? You need to give it to God. You need to, I was like you, but once I gave it to God and allow him to help me, I don't have that pain. I'm like, but God ain't do that. God ain't stomped me. God didn't pull my hair and gave me a bloody, one of them bloodshot eyes when I was 8 or 9. God didn't do that. So why am I giving it to God? So that's how I'm feeling about that at the time. Like, it was way more excuses, and then finally the so-called apology. I don't remember that stuff, but I can see why you would be upset, and I'm sorry, I guess that would make me a narcissist mom. I remember feeling like, this is so disingenuous. I'd rather you not even apologize. And that's the other thing. You may never get a sincere apology for them. Now that I'm an adult, and I had to fight through a lot of things and say, you know what, I can't use the abuse to be able to do things and fail at and be like, oh, it's because of my abuse where I keep failing. I have to rise above. That doesn't mean that I cannot acknowledge the pain and the things that I've been through, but I still have to find a way to rise above and grow from this, right? Because I can't change the fact of what happened to me as a kid. But I do remember feeling like, well, damn, I really would like it if you would just give me a sincere apology, that you really sit there and instead of talking about what happened to you as a kid, I'm sorry that happened to you as a kid. I really am. I don't wish any of the things you shared with me. And that's probably why I've always been the type of person that I've always considered what someone else been through, like have that certain compassion to where I would give people multiple chances to continue to hurt me. I would think about, okay, they've been through this, they've been through that. Let me cut them some slack, and it could just really feel like, man, I could feel your pain, and I'm gonna give you another opportunity, only for them to continue to do whatever they did. And I remember being told that I'm strong to a fault. And so, you know, for my mother, I just remember feeling like, just apologize. You know, stop with the excuses. What you did was wrong. Baby, I hurt you. What I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I should have got some counseling. Maybe I shouldn't have had kids. I don't know, but I should have done something better than what I done. I wronged you. I hurt you. Okay, now let's go to romantic relationship. The last relationship that I was just in, my marriage, that was a total of 14 and a half years. That marriage was physically, but more verbally than physically, emotionally, financially, all of that, abusive. I have had another relationship that was physically abusive as well. And so I'll give you their excuses. I've seen my dad beat my mom, or I've seen my mom in relationships with men before she got married beat my mother. So I'm like, so how did it feel to see your mother get beat? In some instances, they went to defend your mom. So when you went to defend your mom, you understood that what was happening to your mother was wrong, only to grow up and to repeat the behavior. Now I know someone may say, hey, they didn't know. But if something in them felt that it was wrong for their own mother to be getting hit on, then obviously it's wrong for the mother of their children or someone else's daughter to be getting hit on too. Or another excuse. I was bullied as a kid. I was taken advantage of by grown women. Fill in the blank. These are the reasons to why I abuse you. I drink too much. This is what I saw. This is how my uncles and all the men in the neighborhood, this is how they dealt with their women. Therefore, this is how I deal. This is how I've learned, and this is how I was shaped and molded and conditioned, and I know it's wrong. If you know it's wrong, then why not make that change? I do understand some of you will say, well, the person have a right to leave. Yeah, but let me tell you something about abuse, especially when it happened to you as a child. When you're a child and you're abused, you're pretty much groomed and conditioned to believe that that's what love is, even though you know it doesn't feel right. You're so used to being treated a type of way that when you don't get to heal the pain that you went through in childhood with that parent, all you do is attract that person. You attract mom or dad, whomever abused you in your romantic relationship, because really you're trying to appease mom and make mom proud of you or dad. But you've attracted in a romantic relationship, and all they did is just replace the parent, just in a different role. And sometimes you don't know you can get out. You're in so deep, they're so in here, you're not loving yourself. You grew up dysfunctional. You either have no clue that you're in something dysfunctional, or you don't know how to get out. And so you buy and you take on the excuses. But I'm here to say, as someone that has been through all of that, there's no excuse. I've been through all that abuse, and I don't abuse my children. I made a conscious effort to say that I would not abuse my children. When I was in these dysfunctional relationships, I had back and forth. Yes, I saw my mother back and forth with whomever she was dating at that time. And I did do back and forth, arguing and bickering or trying to defend myself physically. I did participate in that. And then at some point I was like, this is a hot ghetto mess. That's what I said. I said hot ghetto mess. I'm sorry if this offends someone. I'm telling you what I said. This is a hot ghetto mess. This is not how two people should be living in a home that say they love each other. You're married. This is not love. This doesn't, why Why does this not feel good in my soul? Why at some point these excuses are redundant, and I'm realizing that you're never going to change. You just want me to forever accept the excuse. But there's no excuse for abuse. If this person is saying to you, if a person is saying to you, and I'm speaking to the person that endures this, maybe you're still in a relationship and you're trying to justify it, and they're telling you it's because of your mouth is too flip, or you're not respectful, whatever, they should just leave you. Instead of putting their hands on you, calling you out your name, slapping you around, punching you, whatever that they're doing to you, they should just leave. There's other people out there they can be with. They don't have the divine right to try to make you be something that you're not. And sometimes all you're really doing is just speaking up for yourself. Sometimes you're standing in your power and you're saying, no, I'm not this. I'm not going to go for this. I'm not going to go for you being out all times of night or whatever. I'm not going to go for you calling me out of my name and then expecting me to go in the bedroom and perform like you just called me queen. No, I'm not going for that. And then they'll tell you you're being disrespectful or whatever because you were standing up for yourself. You have a right to stand up for yourself. And you have a right to not accept or allow abuse or justify it. You haven't said or done a thing to justify abuse. I do understand in relationships, two people may disagree. Y'all want to disagree on things. You left the toilet seat up, or you burnt the rice. I don't know, you're going to disagree on something, but that does not give somebody the right to call you out of your name, to diagnose you and tell you what you're capable of and what you will not have and limit your success. Like, that does not give them a right. And then to turn around and be like, oh, when I was little, I saw this growing up and I saw men do this to my mother, or I saw women do this to my dad or whatever, so therefore this is why I am. If you are able to identify that that's why you are the way that you are, you need to get online and look up a therapist. Now I'm talking to the abusers. If you're watching this, look up a therapist. In the same way you can tell the person that you are beating on, verbally trashing and doing all this too, get on the internet, find a telephone number or find an email address and reach out to this person, because obviously you know that it's wrong. You know where it's coming from and you could stop. Now here's my message to those of you that are abusing little people, children, helpless, innocent children with a beautiful life ahead of them. I'm sorry if life happened to you and you were abused. I'm sorry. I am sincerely sorry that happened to you. As a person that have endured not only childhood abuse from my mother, other forms of abuse, as well as being bullied in school. I'm sorry those things happened to you. My heart goes out to you. It really does. Your child did not do that to you, or children. They don't deserve to be beat on, neglected, slapped around, called out of their names before, like, to just have their whole life crushed and destroyed before they can even have an opportunity to live life and understand what life is. I understand being frustrated as a parent, like, oh my God, these kids are getting on my nerves. I'll be glad when they hurry up and grow up. I get it. I understand. But go and talk to someone. Make an appointment. Be honest. Therapists are there for you to be honest. Now, if you tell them you want to hurt your child, they got to do something about that. But if you have anger issues and you have unresolved pain, you owe it to yourself first, and you owe it to your child or children to get that taken care of, to give them a fair opportunity to be able to be successful, thriving adults that don't have to go through life dealing with childhood hurt and trauma. No one deserves that. And guess what? If that child doesn't somehow become addicted to drugs, or a victim of some type of sexual predator, or hurt themselves, and they somehow make it to adulthood, you'll be lucky if that child as an adult decides to speak to you. If that child says, you know what, I'm not going to put you in a nursing home because you were a good parent to me. Like, if they decide to give you the time of day, then you are blessed. Because there's many people that abuse their children and said all that like these people were going to be little forever. Not stopping to think that one day these little people are going to grow up and they're going to be adults, and I'm going to get older if I continue to live. And I may need these same little people that I hurt and destroyed with my words to take care of me. Now the shoe is on the other foot. You need them to wipe your behind. You need them to make sure you eat and take your medicine, and to keep you from out of a home, one of those, what do you call it, a nursing home, or making sure the staff is not abusing you, that they got you in a good home. And if they decide, because of all the pain you caused them, and they're like, no, this person is toxic. The only reason why they stopped being toxic because they became too ill or too weak to be toxic. Not because they found a way to heal themselves and get some tips or tools or whatever to be able to exercise to help them. No, they're simply not evil towards me anymore because they're not strong enough in their bodies. You will have a strained relationship with your adult children. I have been off and on with my mother. I love my mother dearly, but I had to accept that I cannot have the type of relationship with my mother that I've always wanted. I just can't. My dad didn't abuse me, different story, so I can't include him in this relationship. It doesn't mean that him and I have the best of relationship, not what I would want to have, but he didn't abuse me. And they were separated. So I can't include him in this. And for those of you that are in romantic relationships, given these justifications and stuff like that, if that person leave and decide, you know what, enough is enough, and move on, karma is real. I don't care what you believe in spiritually or not or whatever. I'm here to tell you that karma is real. You have to answer for all the evil that you do and all the wrong. You can justify it to yourself so that you can go to sleep at night, or maybe you're self-medicating to sleep at night so that you can have some type of conscience. But wrong is wrong. And guess what? It can happen to your kids. You around here slapping around a woman because she won't behave. Somebody will be slapping around your children, your precious daughter. That could be your karma. Or you may need that same woman later on in life to help you. It's wrong. I'm just here to say there's no excuse for abuse. Stop telling people that you're abusing them and doing these things because they won't behave and do whatever. You have a problem, go seek some help. I'm not judging you. I feel like deep down inside you are a beautiful soul, but you need help. And I'll end this video by saying, for those of us that have endured abuse, enough is enough. No more accepting excuses. No more allowing these people to continually hurt us and say, oh, my childhood. If you're like me, you have a childhood. Are you around here kicking people around? I'm not. If anything, I'm very protective about my children. You can barely look at them too long without me being like, stranger danger, back up. You can't hardly look at my children long. I didn't grow up to slap my children around. I understood what that felt like. I understood what it felt like to be called names and said things you don't even know what it means, and when you finally figure out what it means, it's painful. It's like somebody pierced you through your heart and it was your own mother. So no, you don't have to accept these excuses. There's nothing you said or done to justify that. In a healthy relationship, I could make, because I haven't had one yet. You know, I'm just being honest. I don't feel like I've had one yet, but I'm doing my soul healing work now. I believe in healthy relationships, people know how to disagree without attacking each other. They know how to stick to the topic, and they know how to table it and say, you know what, we need to walk away from this and come back. And then when they come back, if they still can't agree, they know how to agree to disagree and still love each other and respect each other for the differences. They know how to compromise. But there's nothing you are saying or doing whatever to be able to be abused. It's not an excuse. I'm sorry. You cannot accept it. I'm telling you not to accept it. You are too special, too wonderful, too beautiful. You have a purpose. You have a right to be who you are, unique you. And if this person have a problem, shame on them for staying there because you're so terrible and that's why they got to abuse you. Shame on them for staying in some situation, allowing themselves to feel like whatever. So that's my passionate, obviously, speech for today. No excuse for abuse. No more. You don't deserve it. Move on. Move on. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you didn't, maybe I stepped on some toes. I come in love. I honestly do. We got to do better. I'm starting with me. I'm doing my self-healing work, and it is what it is. So if you sincerely like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share this video with whomever you feel like could benefit from this. And I have other content similar to this on my channel. Feel free to check those videos out. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will chat with you all in a new video. Bye bye for now.